Listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you will shake you to your core. This is not a coincidence. You are here right now because God has activated a financial calling over your life. The prayers you've been crying out, the struggles you've been pushing through, the doors that seemed locked, all of it has been leading to this moment. God said, I am releasing something over you that will change everything. One decision, one shift, one moment of obedience, and you will step into a wealth you never thought possible, not for your own gain, but because you have been chosen as a vessel for His kingdom. You see, most people miss this calling. They stay trapped in fear, in lack, in the belief that money is separate from faith. But that is a lie. Deuteronomy 8:18 says, Remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the power to create wealth. Did you catch that? God gives you the power, not the world, not the government, not the system, you. But the question is, will you claim it? Because right now, the wealth that was meant for you is being held in the hands of those who do not serve God. While believers sit in fear, the enemy is building, multiplying, and taking over. That stops today. If you hear my voice, then this message is for you. God has been waiting on you to step forward, to rise up, to take hold of what is already yours. This is not about greed. This is about purpose. This is about mission. This is about kingdom. And now you have a choice. Will you step into what God has called you to? Or will you stay where you are, letting this moment pass you by? For years you've worked tirelessly. You've followed the rules, stayed faithful, done everything you thought was right. Yet financial breakthrough still feels out of reach. The weight of bills, the pressure of providing, the endless cycle of just getting by, it wears on you. You've tithed, you've prayed, you've believed. But deep inside, a question lingers. Why does it feel like I'm always struggling while others prosper? You see people who don't honor God walking in abundance, living without worry, while you fight just to stay afloat. And at times, you wonder, is this really what God intended for my life? They told you to be content with little, that wealth was dangerous, that struggle was a sign of righteousness. But deep down, something doesn't sit right. A whisper inside tells you there's more, that God didn't create you just to survive. He created you to build, to steward, to thrive. And that's when it hits you. Maybe the problem isn't that God hasn't provided. Maybe the problem is that you've been taught to reject what He's been trying to give you all along. What if your financial breakthrough is tied to your obedience? What if the abundance you've been praying for isn't being withheld, but waiting for you to step into it? This is not about greed. It's not about chasing wealth for its own sake. This is about assignment. God has placed something inside you, a talent, a vision, a mission that He intends to multiply. But multiplication requires movement. Look at the parable of the talents. The servant who buried his gift in fear lost everything. But those who invested, who took action, who stepped out in faith, were rewarded beyond measure. You weren't called to barely get by. You weren't meant to struggle while the world prospers. You were designed to create, to build, to expand, because kingdom wealth is not just about you. It's about impact. It's about stewardship. It's about breaking cycles of lack so that others may be blessed through you. The question is, will you answer the call? You don't have to figure this out alone. God has already provided the blueprint. The Bible is filled with financial wisdom, secrets of multiplication, principles of stewardship, divine strategies for increase. But most people never unlock them because they were never taught to look. Think about it. The world has its financial system, built on debt, greed, and self-interest. But God's system? It's built on stewardship, wisdom, and faith. The world teaches you to chase money, but the Bible teaches you how to let money chase you. Look at Joseph, a man who went from slavery to ruling the wealth of an empire. He didn't just survive, he mastered Egypt's economy. When famine struck, nations turned to him because he understood the principles of divine provision. He built storehouses, managed resources, and walked in financial wisdom. Why did God trust him? Because Joseph was faithful in small things first. Look at Solomon, the wealthiest king in history. Why? Because he didn't chase riches. He chased wisdom. And what happened? God gave him more wealth than any man had ever seen. Not because he asked for money, but because he sought the knowledge to manage it wisely. God has always rewarded those who seek wisdom. The problem isn't that believers lack money. It's that they lack the right mindset. This is not just about making money. It's about understanding kingdom economics, how to multiply, how to invest, how to break free from a scarcity mindset and step into divine provision. Jesus himself spoke about money more than almost any other topic. Why? Because he knew that financial freedom isn't just about comfort. It's about influence, impact, and responsibility. You were never meant to live in lack, but you must be willing to step out of old ways of thinking. Ask yourself, are you willing to unlearn the lies? Are you ready to embrace a new way of thinking? Because what you do next will determine everything. But here's the challenge. You can't serve two masters. You must decide, will you trust the world's broken system, or will you step into God's financial kingdom? The world says, chase money, hoard it, live for yourself. But God says, seek first my kingdom, and all these things will be added to you. This is the moment where many turn back. They hear the call but stay in fear. They want change but cling to comfort. They believe in abundance but still think like a slave. They pray for financial breakthrough but refuse to step into the mindset that unlocks it. But faith requires movement. Look at Abraham. God called him to leave everything he knew, to step into the unknown, to trust a promise he couldn't yet see. He didn't have all the answers, but he had faith. And because he moved, he became the father of nations. Now look at Peter. When Jesus told him to step out of the boat, he could have stayed where it was safe. He could have waited for the waves to calm, for the perfect moment. But instead, he stepped onto the water. And as long as he kept his eyes on Jesus, he did the impossible. The same call is being placed on you right now. God is calling you out of limitation, out of survival mode, out of lack. But here's the hard truth. You can't step into something new while clinging to something old. You can't build God's vision while operating under a poverty mindset. You can't expect supernatural provision while living by fear-based decisions. At some point, you must decide, do I truly trust God as my provider? Because the truth is, you will never see the harvest if you're too afraid to plant the seed. And right now, the seed is in your hands. What will you do with it? Yes, there will be struggles, doubts, delays, resistance. The moment you decide to step into what God has called you to, the enemy will push back. You will hear whispers in your mind. What if you fail? What if this doesn't work? You're not meant for this. Fear will try to creep in. People around you may not understand. Some will doubt you. Some will laugh at you. Some will try to talk you out of it. This is the test. The moment you start breaking free from the old way of living, the moment you start thinking differently, moving differently, the resistance begins. The enemy doesn't attack those who stay in mediocrity. He attacks those who are stepping into their God-given calling. Think about Job. He was a righteous man, blessed beyond measure. Yet in an instant, he lost everything. His wealth, his family, his health, gone. His friends told him to give up. His wife told him to curse God and die, but he refused. And in the end, God restored him with double. Now look at David. He was anointed to be king, but before he ever wore the crown, he was hunted, betrayed, and forced to hide in caves. The anointing was already on him. The promise had already been made. But the journey? It was filled with trials. Because every great calling comes with great resistance. This is how God refines you. Moses spent 40 years in the wilderness before leading Israel to freedom. Joseph spent years in prison before stepping into his destiny. Even Jesus himself was tested in the wilderness before he began his ministry. Faith isn't proven in comfort. It's proven in the fire. God is asking, will you trust me even when it's hard? Even when everything seems to be going wrong? Even when the doors you expected to open remain closed? Because breakthrough doesn't come to those who quit at the first sign of struggle. It comes to those who endure. The resistance isn't a sign to turn back. It's a sign that you're on the right path. The enemy knows what happens if you don't give up. So the question is, will you press forward? You've made it this far, but now comes the hardest part. The moment before breakthrough always feels like the moment before breaking. This is where most people give up. The pressure increases. The doubts grow louder. The obstacles seem impossible. You've sown seeds, but the harvest hasn't come yet. You've taken steps, but the doors haven't opened. You've fought, prayed, and believed, but the results still seem far away. And this is where the enemy wants you to quit. This is where frustration sets in, where exhaustion whispers, maybe this isn't for me, where everything in you says, I've done enough. Maybe I should turn back. But listen, this is the final test, because this is where faith is proven. It's easy to believe when things are going well, but can you believe when everything seems still? Can you trust God when you don't see results yet? This is where most people fail, not because they weren't called, not because they weren't anointed, but because they didn't endure. But you didn't come this far to stop now. Think about Joshua and the walls of Jericho. God told him to march around the city for 7 days. No instant results, no immediate breakthrough. Just marching, step after step, in obedience. Imagine the frustration. 6 days of walking with no sign of change. 6 days of seeing the same towering walls. 6 days of people mocking them, laughing, doubting. But on the 7th day, the walls came crashing down. And it makes you wonder, what if they had stopped at 6? What if they had turned back one day too soon? How close are you to your breakthrough? How many people give up right before their miracle? That's why the enemy is trying so hard to wear you down. Because he knows if you keep going, he loses. What if the deal you've been praying for is one step away? What if the opportunity you've been waiting for is about to knock? What if God has already set everything in motion, but you just need to endure a little longer? You are closer than you think. This is not the time to stop. This is the time to press forward. If you're still marching, type, I will not quit in the comments. Let the enemy know you refuse to turn back. Let heaven hear your faith. Because the walls are about to fall. The breakthrough is already in motion. Will you keep marching? This is it. The moment when everything inside you screams, it's too much. The moment when doubt is no longer a whisper, it's a roar. You've fought, you've prayed, you've held on. But now it feels impossible. The pressure is unbearable. The weight is crushing. And the enemy? He's watching, he's waiting. He sees you struggling. He sees you questioning everything. He sees the weariness in your eyes, the fear in your heart. And he whispers, it's over. You've done enough. Just quit. Walk away. And for a moment you almost believe him. You almost accept that maybe, just maybe, this isn't for you. But hear me loud and clear. God has spoken. You have a mission. You are a kingdom vessel. Your financial calling has been activated. And you think the enemy doesn't know that? He sees it. He sees what's coming. He sees the abundance God is about to release over your life. He sees the generational wealth you're about to unlock. He sees the chains of poverty you're about to break. And he's terrified. So he's throwing everything at you. Doubt to weaken your faith. Fear to paralyze your progress. Delays to make you quit too soon. Why? Because if you walk away now, he wins. But if you hold on, God is about to release what's already been promised. Think about Joseph. One night he was rotting in a prison cell, forgotten. The next night he was standing before Pharaoh, crowned with favor. Think about Job. One moment he had lost everything, his health, his family, his wealth. The next moment God restored him with double. What if Joseph had given up in that prison? What if Job had cursed God and walked away from his faith? They would have never seen their breakthrough. And now you are at that same crossroad. This is not the moment to collapse. This is the moment to rise. This is where kingdom vessels are forged. You've been called to steward wealth for a higher purpose. You've been chosen to build a financial legacy that impacts generations. You are walking in a divine assignment, and the enemy knows it. The doors you've been knocking on? They're already opening in the spirit. The breakthrough you've been waiting for? It's already in motion. The financial freedom you've been praying for? It's already been written. But can you endure this moment? Because this moment, this pain, this pressure, this crisis is temporary. And what's on the other side? Victory, abundance, supernatural overflow. The enemy wants you to quit because he knows what happens if you don't. Type, "I will not break" in the comments. Let the enemy know you refuse to quit. Let heaven hear your declaration, because your breakthrough is already on the way. Now tell me, are you going to walk away? Or are you going to step into what's already been promised to you? Your mission has been activated. Your time is now. This is it. The moment you've been waiting for. The struggle, it wasn't for nothing. The pain, it was the price of the blessing. The delay, it was God's perfect timing setting you up for something greater. And now, after the trials, the tests, the nights of doubt, the breakthrough has arrived. Your financial calling has been activated. Your mission is unfolding before your eyes. The doors that were locked are now wide open. The same people who doubted you will have no choice but to watch as God lifts you up. The same people who mocked you will be left speechless as they see your overflow. The same enemy who tried to stop you has been defeated. Because what God has for you, no one can take away. And listen, this isn't just money. This is kingdom wealth. This is supernatural favor. This is generational impact. God didn't bring you this far just to pay your bills. He didn't lead you through the storm just to help you get by. No, He is setting you up for legacy wealth. Wealth that breaks generational curses. Wealth that creates generational blessings. Wealth that empowers you to fund kingdom work. You are no longer a borrower. You are a lender. You are no longer surviving. You are thriving. You are no longer in the wilderness. You are in the promised land. And the best part? This is just the beginning. Because when God blesses, He doesn't just add, He multiplies. You didn't suffer just to receive a blessing. You endured because you are the blessing. And now you have a kingdom assignment. Your wealth is not just for you. It's for your family. It's for your children's children. It's for your community. It's for the kingdom of God. You are being called to fund movements, to open doors for others, to be a vessel of prosperity in the hands of God. This is not just financial gain. This is a divine responsibility. And if you're ready to step into this reality, comment "I receive my treasure" below. Declare it, own it, walk in it. Your treasure is not coming. It's already here. Now the question is, are you ready to receive it? This is what happens when you refuse to quit. This is what happens when you choose faith over fear. This is what happens when you step into your divine calling. Everything changes. The financial burdens that once weighed you down, gone. The doors that once slammed in your face, now wide open. The struggles that once defined you, now nothing more than a testimony. Because you didn't break. You didn't let the enemy steal what was yours. You didn't turn back when things got hard. And now you're walking in the fullness of God's favor. Your finances, overflowing. Your influence, expanding. Your opportunities, limitless. You are no longer fighting for scraps. You are operating in abundance. Because you finally understand, wealth is not something you chase. It's something that follows when you align with God's will. This isn't just about money. This is supernatural positioning. This is kingdom impact. This is a divine transformation that will never be reversed. And the best part? This is just the beginning. Because when God blesses you, He doesn't just give, He multiplies. When He opens a door, no man can shut it. When He declares a season of favor, no enemy can stop it. But listen, this isn't just for you. You have been positioned to bless others. You have been chosen to be a kingdom financier. You have been set apart to build, to give, to restore. Your abundance is not just for you to enjoy. It's for you to invest in the kingdom, to fund movements, to break generational curses, to build generational blessings. There are ministries waiting on your wealth. There are families that will be restored because of your obedience. There are nations that will hear the gospel because of what's being placed in your hands. This is why the enemy tried so hard to stop you. Because if you quit, it wouldn't just affect you. It would affect everyone connected to your breakthrough. But you didn't quit. You held on. You pressed forward. You activated kingdom wealth. And now it's yours. From this day forward, you are not just someone who survives. You are someone who thrives. You are not just another person trying to make ends meet. You are a vessel through which God's abundance flows. The old you, gone. The struggling you, dead. The fearful, doubting version of yourself? Buried. You are reborn. You are empowered. You are walking in divine prosperity. And the world will see it, because this blessing will not be silent. This transformation will not go unnoticed. The same people who mocked you, the same people who said you would never make it, the same people who counted you out, they will have no choice but to witness the favor of God on your life. Because when God raises you up, no man can take you down. When God establishes you, no enemy can remove you. When God blesses you, it is final. Comment, I am walking in my blessing below. Declare it, own it, walk in it. This is not just a moment, this is your new reality. And from this day forward, your life will never be the same again. You've walked through the fire. You've battled the storms. You've endured the trials that tried to break you. And now, you are returning, but you are not the same. The person who started this journey? Gone. The version of you that struggled, doubted, and feared? Buried. You are coming back stronger. You are coming back wiser. You are coming back with the keys to kingdom wealth. Because this was never just about you. This transformation? It was preparing you for something greater. Your wealth has a purpose. Your abundance is a weapon. Your testimony is the evidence of God's faithfulness. And now you return not as the same person who once struggled, but as someone who carries the blueprint for breakthrough. Remember Joseph? He was thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, imprisoned for years. But when he returned, he was second in command over an entire kingdom. His struggles weren't for nothing. They were training for elevation. And just like Joseph, you are returning with authority. Authority over your finances. Authority over your calling. Authority over the wealth God is pouring into your hands. Because when God restores, He doesn't bring you back the same. He brings you back greater. You are returning with strategies for abundance. You are returning with wisdom to manage increase. You are returning with a mission to multiply what God has given you. Deuteronomy 8:18 says, Remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the power to create wealth, to establish His covenant. This is why God blessed you. You are no longer just receiving, you are releasing. You are no longer just being blessed, you are becoming a blessing. You are no longer surviving, you are thriving. And hear me when I say this, your return is not just personal. When God elevates a kingdom vessel, everyone connected to them rises too. Your family will rise. Your community will rise. Your legacy will rise. Because you are no longer operating on your own strength. You are walking in the supernatural acceleration of God. The wealth that once seemed impossible, now flowing effortlessly. The favor that once felt out of reach, now surrounding you on every side. The doors that once refused to open, now swinging wide because of the authority you carry. And listen to me, this is just the beginning. What you've seen so far is only a glimpse of what's coming. God has positioned you as a financial leader, a wealth carrier, a kingdom financier. You are stepping into divine influence. You will lend and not borrow. You will own and not rent. You will give and never lack. Because this is what happens when a kingdom vessel returns. You don't just come back to the same place. You return with kingdom authority. And the world will see what God has done. Comment, I am a kingdom financier below. Declare it, walk in it. Because this isn't the end. This is the return. And from this day forward, your life will never be the same again. The life you once knew, gone. The struggles that once defined you, a distant memory. The fear that once held you back, buried in the past. Because today you step into a new life. A life of abundance. A life of divine favor. A life where wealth flows freely. And your purpose is fully activated. You are no longer the same. You are transformed. You are reborn into kingdom prosperity. 2 Corinthians 5:17 says, Therefore if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has gone, the new is here. Your financial life? Elevated. Your influence? Expanded. Your authority? Strengthened. You now move with divine clarity. You now operate in supernatural confidence. You now walk in God's unlimited provision. Because this is not just a change in circumstances. This is a complete transformation of your destiny. Doors that were once closed, now permanently open. Opportunities that once felt out of reach, now flowing to you effortlessly. The wealth that seemed impossible, now a reality in your hands. You are no longer chasing wealth. Wealth is chasing you. You are no longer surviving. You are thriving. You are no longer questioning your purpose. You are living it. This is your new reality. The old you would have doubted. The old you would have hesitated. The old you would have feared failure. But that version of you doesn't exist anymore. You are a kingdom vessel, walking in divine prosperity. You are a financial steward, managing wealth with wisdom. You are a chosen one, appointed for impact and legacy. And this is just the beginning. The supernatural shift. You can feel it. Everything is different. It's not just a mindset change. It's a full spiritual, financial, and personal elevation. Your prayers? No longer just hopes. They are being answered. Your dreams? No longer distant. They are manifesting. Your purpose? No longer hidden. You are walking in it. You've entered the realm of supernatural acceleration. The wealth transfer has begun. The elevation has started. The generational shift is happening right now. Isaiah 65 says, "Then you will look and be radiant. Your heart will throb and swell with joy. The wealth of the nations will come to you." You are no longer watching others succeed while you struggle. You are no longer wondering when your breakthrough will come. You are no longer trapped in a cycle of lack, fear, and uncertainty. Because the season has changed. This is your time. This is your moment. This is your new life. The divine positioning. God didn't elevate you just for your own gain. He elevated you to be a force of impact. Your wealth is a tool for kingdom expansion. Your abundance is a weapon against generational curses. Your elevation is a testimony of God's power. Because this isn't just about money. This is about your divine assignment. Proverbs 13:22 says, "A good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children." You are no longer building for yourself. You are building for generations. The generational cycle of struggle? Broken. The limitations that held your family back? Destroyed. The mindset of lack and poverty? Erased forever. You have stepped into kingdom stewardship. You have stepped into financial authority. You have stepped into your divine responsibility. You are the wealth carrier. You are the history maker. You are the one chosen to shift the legacy. The never-ending increase. Deuteronomy 28:12 says, "The Lord will open the heavens, the storehouse of his bounty, to send rain on your land in season, and to bless all the work of your hands." The blessings will not stop. The increase will not end. The flow will not dry up. This isn't a one-time breakthrough. This is a lifetime of divine favor. Every day, more doors will open. Every year, more wealth will come. Every moment, more of God's abundance will flow to you. You will lend and not borrow. You will own and not rent. You will give and never lack. Because this is your new life. And from this day forward, you will never be the same again. Comment, "I have stepped into my new life," below. Declare it, own it, walk in it. The shift has begun. The increase is here. This is the life you were always meant to live. Welcome to your new life. You have come so far. You have fought battles seen and unseen. You have endured struggles that others never even knew about. But now you stand victorious. The doors that once refused to open, now unlocked. The resources that once felt out of reach, now overflowing. The life you once only dreamed about, now your reality. Because God never forgot his promise. Because your faith never wavered. Because you refused to give up, even when the enemy tried to break you. Isaiah 41:10 says, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." And today you see the evidence of that promise. You are walking in divine favor. You are standing in supernatural provision. You are living in the abundance that God has declared over your life. This journey was never just about wealth. It was about becoming the person who could handle it. It was about God shaping you, refining you, preparing you for this moment. Now you understand. Wealth is not just about money, it's about responsibility. Abundance is not just about blessings, it's about stewardship. Favor is not just about receiving, it's about releasing. Because God didn't just bless you for yourself. He blessed you so you can be a blessing to others. Luke 12:48 says, "To whom much is given, much will be required." And now it is time to walk in that calling, to use your wealth with wisdom, to multiply what you've been given, to fund the missions, help the people, Build the legacy. Because this is not the end. This is just the beginning. The journey to kingdom wealth never stops. The doors of abundance never close. The favor on your life never runs out. You have stepped into the supernatural realm of increase. You have become a kingdom vessel of wealth and impact. You have activated your divine assignment. And from this day forward, your life will never be the same. Comment "I am a Kingdom Financier" below. Declare it, walk in it, live it. Because your financial calling has been activated. Because the journey continues. Because this is the resolution, but it is only the beginning. Your financial calling is here. Your divine purpose is unfolding. Your next breakthrough is waiting, but you can't afford to stop now. Everything you've learned in this video, it's only the beginning. The next video holds the key to multiplying what God has given you. The revelation is not complete. There's still more to unlock. The transformation continues, but only if you take action. Click on the next video right now. Your kingdom assignment is calling. Your supernatural increase is waiting. Your legacy is being written. Drop a comment below. I am ready for more. If you're stepping into the next level. Now go, watch the next video. Because your journey is far from over.